Okay, see some examples now of adding and subtracting decimals. I should show you some subtraction. I'm going to again stick with my plan of using estimation to make sure my answer is correct. Let's say you have something like this. 5.391 minus 2.15. I'm going to first use front-end estimation. And this is really important because I can catch my mistakes later if I do that. Front-end estimation tells me, if I look at this here, I've got a 5 and I've got a 2. This will give me an approximate answer if I just go 5 minus 2. And that approximate answer is 3. Squiggle equals approximately. Okay, so now I have to go about calculating. I want to know exactly how much it is. So I've got 5.391. Subtraction is important, which one you put first term. And I'm going to subtract 2.15. So the problem is if I put 215 here, I won't be lining up my whole numbers. And I won't be lining up my tenths and hundreds and thousands. So I've got to add a trailing 0 to this. And I'm going to do that in a different color here. So that now I have the same number of digits after the decimal. Okay, so I'm going to write down here 2.150. This will help line things up. I've added one trailing 0 so that it will pad it over so that I have my 2 pushed up underneath the 5. Because the 2 is the whole, as 2 ones, and this is 5 ones. And I want to make sure that everything is lined up properly. So here's my decimal. I can go ahead and bring that down if I want, because I'm going to have to do that later. Now I do subtraction. 1 minus 0 is 1. 9 minus 5 is 4. 3 minus 1 is 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. Now if I forgot to do that decimal, I'd have the answer of, I'd have the answer of 3,241, which you know is not going to be accurate because you did your front-end estimation, right? And you found out it should be around 3. So I have 5.391 minus 2.150 is 3.241. Is that logical? Totally. Here's another example. This one might look a little bit different. I'm going to do 9.7 minus 1.36. Front-end estimation tells you to look at just the whole number, everything to the left of the decimal point. And that, in this case, is 9. I didn't pick a good color there, sorry. 9 minus 1. So it's going to be approximately, squiggle equals approximately 8. Okay, and that's important to make sure I do this right. Now, I have to look at it. 9.7, I'm going to change into 9.70. Because now it'll push it over so it'll line up my 9 with my 1, because those are 1s, and I got to make sure I line up my decimal point. That's really important. So now I can just simply write it 9.70 with my trailing 0 on there minus 1.36. Okay, now I can get my answer. In this case, I have to do some borrowing. Don't forget how to do that because I can't subtract 6 hundredths from 0 hundredths. So I'm going to borrow from this column here, and I'm going to take 1/10 here and put it in here. Oops, pen is not working. Many people have different ways of doing this. 10 minus 6 now gives me 4. 6 minus 3 gives me 3, and I'm writing sideways for some reason. 9 minus 1 gives me 8. So my answer is 8.34. Check with my estimate. My estimate was around 8. This is around 8. I dropped my decimal point straight down. If I'd forgotten the decimal point, this would help me catch a mistake. You would not want to write down 834 as your answer. Okay, one more example. Okay, 1 minute to just give a final example with explanations to sum things up here. And this is the steps, adding and subtracting decimals. Use front-end estimation to get an approximate answer. So something like 2.038 plus 1.4. I can get an approximate answer by using front-end estimation of 3. Don't forget, you're just looking at the numbers to the left of the decimal, and that's it. That's the 2 and the 1. So add trailing zeros. Now this is my next step. Add trailing zeros until I have the same number of digits after the decimal place. So I'm going to have 2.038. That has 3 digits after the decimal place. I have to make this one have 3 digits. And I'm going to change it into 1.4, and I'm going to add some trailing zeros. How many? 1, 2. Now I'm going to add or subtract as if they were whole numbers. I'm going to simply